Well, I'm probably 2 days late for this, but oh my goodness, Gnog are going to get bought out by Draftkings, and cannot tell you how happy I am and also how surprised I am. It would be typical that I go away for 2 days, and on them 2 days, this is the deal that happens. Probably this year, the biggest news story for me personally, like that really does affect my portfolio, because we have my biggest position buying out a pretty decent size position in my portfolio, and yeah, there was just so much to digest. I was away the last 2 days, and that's why I've not been able to talk about it. But yeah, it was about lunchtime, I think I saw it. I was literally just eating a cheese toaster, flicking through, and then all of a sudden some Discord notifications come through saying, "Oh, look at this, Gnog are buying Draftkings," and I'm like, no way, no way. And I see it, and I go through it, and I'm dropping my cheese toasty everywhere. I'm like, no way is this happening, and it was just so much going on. So yeah, we've got a lot to go through today, and I'll try and talk about all my thoughts on this. And yeah, I'm really, this is the best news for me all year in the stock market. I was absolutely buzzing, and yeah, we'll go through everything today because there's a lot to talk about. So yeah, I was just in absolute shock. I think a while ago we actually had a little bit of whispers that this could happen, but it never went anywhere. And then obviously, boom, out of nowhere, Golden Nugget being purchased by Draftkings. So if you are on the Patreon, because obviously I've been away for the last 2 days, if you are on the Patreon, you kind of know what my thoughts are and what I've kind of done with my shares in Golden Nugget, what I've done in Draftkings. So you won't be so surprised. If you do want to join the Patreon, the link is in the description. I always post when I'm buying and selling live on there in real market time, as well as the Discord where the news kind of broke to me. And there's also normally either 2 or 3 exclusive videos a week on there. So if you do want to join, that link is down there. But you guys kind of know, but I've not really been able to talk about on the YouTube scene, so I will talk about what I kind of did with everything when this news came out like that. And also just to let you know, I'll kind of push this like next kind of like 1 or 2 weeks. I've actually just got an email through Stake, and I'll put the link in the description, is if you join through that link, they're actually doing a thing at the moment where if you join and deposit, you have to deposit within the first 24 hours. Me and you get 2 free shares. I can't remember the exact offer, but I'll be showing you on the screen right now. It's a share of either Nike, Peloton, a Dropbox, GoPro, and there's 2 other ones which I can't remember. So you get 2 of them 6 companies there, so it's probably worth a go just setting up an account and seeing if you can get one, I guess. But it's a pretty decent platform as well. But I just thought I'd share you with that because I could see if you guys wanting to take up that offer and get them free shares. But enough of that, we'll get into the Gnog buyout and what kind of happened and my thoughts on it. So first of all, we'll talk about the buyout and what I think of the buyout, and also who potentially got the better end of the deal here. So the exact terms of the buyout was Gnog shareholders to receive 0.365 Draftkings shares for each existing Gnog share. So basically what you had then is when the news came out, you had the Gnog, actually the Draftkings shares or share price was actually pretty positive on this news. Normally when you see big buyouts for this, you normally see a big massive shoot up, a bit of a negative on the company that's buying them out, but it was okay. And then obviously you had Gnog shares which were up over 50% after the news of this happening. Now, obviously this isn't a buyout in cash, it's going to be a buyout through all stock. So obviously if you're a Gnog shareholder, you're going to receive 0.365 Draftkings shares. So that's slightly different to some buyouts that we've had from the likes of GWPH and also the Glue Mobile. Those are 2 companies that I've owned this year that have been bought out. And that means it's slightly different for a reason I'll talk in about a second. But that meant that the price will be $18.83 per share based on Draftkings closing price of $51 on August the 6th, which is about a market valuation of 1.56 billion. That means they paid for 7.6 2022 revenue multiple of Gnog, representing a 51% premium. And at the close, existing Draftkings shareholders will own 93% of the company because obviously you're getting diluted slightly because it's an all stock deal. Also, they will have access to their Gnog's database as well as integration into their retail, restaurants and retail sportsbook, and it is anticipated to close in Q1 2022. So there's a lot of news to take on there. I think it's very important to say as well that obviously the amount of access that Draftkings is going to have branding power wise now is a huge amount, which isn't really talked about in that deal of just getting the the Gnog platform that they do have. That's another bonus they do have. Also, some things that weren't on there is that Tillman is going to actually join the board of Draftkings, which I think is really good because sure, Draftkings are really good at what they do already. But having Tillman there, I think it just brings that little bit, bit more experience as well into the board, which is really good. So he's still there. He's receiving obviously all his position in stock as well. The stock that he's receiving, he can't sell for a year. And also it sounds like he's very bullish. I've got an interview as well that I'm going to show you in a second. But also that he sounds really bullish on the company, and that, normally I get a bit worried when these kind of all stock deals happen, because you think, well, as soon as they get the stock, they're going to sell all the stock and then the share price will go down. But it does sound like Tillman joining the board and that he was really bullish on Draftkings. Sounds like he won't want to sell his shares, which is a real positive as well for us as shareholders. As well as that, what it means for Draftkings is it's going to improve now, because Draftkings, in my opinion, was always the number one player in here. Obviously you've got FanDuel kind of battling away with it, but I think for me Draftkings is the better company, and that's why I've invested in Draftkings. But the one weakness, what did Draftkings have? It was its iGaming, it was its casinos. What's going to happen now is it has the golden nugget coming in, and that's just going to make sure this is the number one brand and company out there, as well as the other little things it has acquired now because of this deal, with the site, the customer base they do have, obviously the access to a lot of the actual physical brick and mortar locations as well. It is very good. So I think for Draftkings, this just makes it an even better company, which is really exciting. For Golden Nugget, it makes sense for Tillman to kind of sell this company, because Golden Nugget is, it's a great company. It never had the funding and the marketing capability of a Draftkings, and that's probably why it was being, we always said it was a lot slower on the expansion side of it, because it doesn't have the ability of what Draftkings has, the money it can put in, and also the setup it has with all its marketing side already. Draftkings was, Golden Nugget was going at a lot slower pace, and that makes it very hard to kind of take that market share. And that's one thing that I said a few months ago, why Golden Nugget isn't performing that much on the share prices, because it's ramping up a lot slower than what we thought, and that will also make it maybe a bit more tricky financially to put in good results further down the line. Now this deal kind of like gets rid of all that, and I think it's a good move for Golden Nugget, because it'll help them expand a lot faster than what they could ever do, and it's a good deal for Draftkings, because obviously this is the one thing they really need to improve on, and they've got it now. So overall, who do I think kind of got the better end of this deal? Well, I think it's a good move from both of them. I think Draftkings is my biggest position in the stock market. So for me, obviously I'm a massive fan of it. I've got the most money, it's my highest conviction stock. And seeing Golden Nugget come into here, which was a company I own, is absolutely amazing. So from a Draftkings point of view, improving probably the weakest part of the company, and also the access that they've got through all the Landry's locations and everything like that now, is absolutely amazing. So I think it's a really good deal for Draftkings. Golden Nugget, it's probably a good thing for them, because obviously they had it would be quite hard for them to keep on scaling up, and that was the weakest point, is they didn't have the funding of a Draftkings, of a FanDuel, to keep scaling up. So it's probably a good time for them to sell. The big thing that has happened is the price. Selling out at, getting the company for $18, in my opinion, is a little bit of a steal, because if you have a look at the Golden Nugget shares, for quite a long time, these Golden Nugget shares have been, 18, 19, 20, all the way up to $25, $26, and now we've had a big massive pullback. The company lost over half its value, and it's been sitting down, $13, $12, $11, kind of like the last kind of couple of months. This company was a lot higher a few months ago. So I think, in my opinion, Golden Nugget, I think, could have got, $20, $23 a share potentially for this company. So in my opinion, I think that Draftkings has got the better end of the deal, because I think Golden Nugget was potentially worth a little bit more than what they sold for. So in my opinion, Draftkings has the better end of the deal, but it is, in my opinion, still a smart move by both companies. But I do think they could have got a little bit more for the company in particular, especially what the share price was only a few months ago. Now for me, obviously that's great, because for me, I only owned this company like 4 months ago. It's quite a new company for me, this one. And obviously I had no plans to buy this, because I had Gang and I had Draftkings, and I thought Draftkings is, my play in this area, Gang play in this area, but it's a software company, which is a little bit different, and I was happy with them too. But obviously I'm ultra bullish in this industry. I saw Golden Nugget drop to $13, and I made a video 4 months ago like saying I'm buying Golden Nugget, which I didn't plan to do, but at $13 I was just like, this is crazy cheap. And even over the last kind of few months, it went 13, 12, it even touched $11. just kept averaging down a little bit every time, and I had a pretty decent position. So for me, they were sitting on about a $12 average on this company. Obviously, I made a very good amount of money in the last couple of days as well, which is absolutely amazing. And obviously, a massive home run for me, to have a company that I've only been invested in for about 4 months, and then I take a 50% gain on it. That's just sometimes the example of how you can beat the market, just spotting them opportunities that have been sold off a little bit too much. So for me, overall, I'm very happy with the situation. Now, overall, I think that if you saw the interview on CNBC, I'm going to play this video now, and hopefully it doesn't get taken down for copyright, because it sometimes does. I don't know how other people get away with this. But there was actually an interview with Jason Robbins and Tillman Ferretta, and both of them basically went to say, Jason Robbins went on to say that we basically underpaid for this company and we're absolutely buzzing. And then Tillman Ferretta basically went on the interview and said, yeah, I probably sold this company for too cheap and it's going to haunt me a little bit, but I think this is an amazing opportunity. So you can listen to them here, and I think Tillman also does very well to sum up why he sold Gnog and why Draftkings is so good and why he wants to work with Draftkings.
We're very excited about that. And, we feel like, listen, the Golden Nugget was trading at $25 not too long ago. We think we got a great deal. We think we got a steal, quite frankly. And, when you want to buy things is when they're at the lower point. And I think, both of us are very happy with the deal. And I think our shareholders are going to be very happy with the results that they see.
I assume you do this deal because you see the two companies as stronger together than they ever could be separately. Explain.
100%, Tyler. And I can tell you, he underpaid for this. And I woke up this morning struggling. But you know what? I know this is going to be great for us, and it's going to be great for the DraftKings shareholders, okay? What you're getting here, and it's really simple. I got the best management team in this space. These are the guys that understand this space. They are a tech company. This is a tech business. This is unlike our business whatsoever in bricks and sticks. They are by far the market leader. Everybody knows the brand DraftKings. They are the Coca-Cola, the Starbucks of this industry. And they're going to be the one with all the people coming from all over the world to attack the sports betting and iGaming in America. They're going to be always one of the top players, most likely the top player. That's what I believe in. Remember, I took all stock. There's a reason I took all stock, because I want to be there and watch him and his team grow this, be on their board, and help them whatever I can, and be one of their largest shareholders when this is what they get up and do every day. Remember, they've got a balance sheet with over $2 billion in cash. This is the best team from an analytic and understanding their customer. They have the best platform to grow. Their marketing is better than anybody else's. But remember, think about what now happens for both companies, Tyler. They're getting our huge base of customers at our Golden Nuggets, our Golden Nugget Online, and the Houston Rockets that they will be marketing to DraftKings and Golden Nugget Online, that in turn will drive people in our businesses, besides taking our huge databases and driving them to DraftKings. This is a true partnership that there's nobody that I would rather be running the Golden Nugget Online brand than this team here.
So hopefully if the interview works, you've just seen it, and yeah, you can see Tillman is a little bit gutted, but at the same time he realises how good DraftKings is and how they're going to dominate this sector. And you can see that he seems very bullish, and that even though he's getting this in all stock, it seems like he wants to be very much part of that DraftKings company. So yeah, that makes me even more I was already like, it's my highest conviction play, but after seeing that, I'm like, if I couldn't be any more, I'm even more bullish on DraftKings, which is absolutely amazing. So I guess that kind of thing sums up my shock of when the news broke, also my thoughts on the buyout and who got the better end of the deal. Obviously, I think the buyout's absolutely amazing for both companies, and I think it's very good for DraftKings, especially in the long term. So my plan, obviously you guys on Patreon kind of know my thoughts on this. When the news broke, I was out all day, so I didn't have much time to look through all the information that was out there. And also I was in quite a bit of shock, really. It was something that I didn't see happening, and then it happened, and it took me about 24 hours to kind of like process everything and kind of think about the different situations. So my kind of plan is that now looking at Gnog and DraftKings, what's going to happen, because this is a all stock buyout, is Gnog and DraftKings. Gnog is pretty much going to follow DraftKings on the share price, because you're always going to get 0.365 or whatever it was of a DraftKings share. So if DraftKings moves up, Gnog will follow. If DraftKings moves down, Gnog will move down. So there's not really too much more that you can get. The big thing is now is whether or not, obviously it's going to close in Q1 2022, which is 6 to 9 months away. So the big thing now is if you sell, which you probably get around about 10% less for if you sell now. If you sell now and you get your money now, then obviously you get it right now rather than waiting 6 to 9 months. The other thing as well is that I think this deal will go through. Normally a lot of acquisitions and mergers do go through. There's always that little slight risk though that it doesn't go through for some reason, and you guys that probably shareholders, you probably know this feeling. Normally a lot of these mergers and acquisitions go through absolutely fine. There's only a small percent that it doesn't go through. I think it will go through, but there's always that small percent. And obviously, you've had a big massive gain already. So I always kind of think about that in the head, and when normally I kind of get a company, like Glue, GWPH, when my companies get bought out, I tend to think, rather than waiting for the merger to go through and that little risk that is there, I normally go, right, I'll just take my money off now. Sure, I'll get a little bit less rather than waiting a bit more, but I can use that money and I can go find another opportunity out there and go buy it or invest in it, and quite potentially I can make more than that little 10% little drop off that I took. I could probably make that up somewhere else in the next 6 to 9 months. Not always, because it's quite short term, but that's something that I'm thinking, and maybe in the next 6 to 9 months I might see an opportunity that I want to go buy. And now for me as well, I already own DraftKings shares, so with me already owning DraftKings shares, this is going to add into the pile that I already have as well, is something that I also considered. So my kind of thoughts of it all is like, and also just something to shout out is like, also just consider your tax situation. For me selling these shares, I had a lot of them in my ISA, which was pretty good, and also I'm doing quite well on my capital gains as well at the moment, so for me I probably won't have to pay any tax on this, but you might want to take in consideration about tax side of it as well. But for me personally, I looked at this one and I thought my always tactic is to sell straight away after merger and acquisitions, just because I just take the risk off that if it ever fell through, which it probably won't do, but I just get that cash straight away. And with that cash, I can then go buy something if I see an opportunity in the 6 to 9 months rather than waiting a long time. So for me, obviously, I wanted to still keep that money. I didn't want to sell it all, because if I did, I'll just have a lot of cash there, and I want to keep some money invested. And obviously, Gnog being sold takes my risk, the amount of money I have in this sector, out of this place as well. And I want to make sure that I'm obviously massively bullish in this industry. I want to keep a lot of money in there. So for me personally, I did sell all of my Gnog shares. After I sold all my Gnog shares, I kept half of it in cash, and I might buy something down the line. I might buy some more Gang or something like that. And then the other half, which I would have got through my DraftKings shares, I put that straight away already into DraftKings. So I basically done the merger 6 to 9 months ahead already. So it's all done for me, and sure, I might wait a bit longer, but I just wanted to get the cash already, wanted to take the little bit of risk that was there off the table, and I'm happy with all that now. Also for me personally is that probably in 6 to 9 months I might potentially be buying a house as well, and obviously if that's quite close to where this would go through, and then I would have to wait, I can have that cash now personally for me. So it also does suit my personal life a little bit as well, not that was a major factor, but I also did consider that a little bit further down the line. So yeah, that's what I thought was potentially the best thing for me at the moment, is to kind of do the merger myself 6 to 9 months ahead. And yeah, now I've got the DraftKings shares already that I would have got from the merger, and also I have a nice little bit of cash that I could go spend on some opportunities out there. Like I said, obviously this also suits my portfolio as well, because Gnog was the one out of DraftKings, Gnog and Gang. I was a little bit more, DraftKings I'm holding for at least 5 years. Gang I want to hold for quite a long time. Gnog was the one that I was like, if I'm a bit heavy in this area, is that if I wanted to get rid of them, because I'm quite heavy in this, the whole growth of this space, is that Gnog would be the one, and I always said it probably would be a shorter term hold for me. So for me, this suits my portfolio perfect, because now I've only got Gang and DraftKings, and obviously I got my money from Gnog now, so this deal absolutely suits my portfolio, and also then I've got my increase in Draftkings, so I haven't lost any money out of this area, and also I have a nice little build onto the cash pile. And like I said, there's probably a lot of opportunities there that I could go spend that cash pile on right now. You know, even Gang's a little bit disrespected. Potentially Hue, you know, I've got other companies, Hotel Chocolate on the UK scene, or Corsair is a big one that I'm liking at the moment. So yeah, I've got a lot of possibilities now over the 6 to 9 months. So yeah, I just kind of stuck to what I normally do, and hopefully it works out. I'm sure it will. But that's what I did, and overall, I'm very happy to have a very good return in this company in a very short time. And yeah, buzzing. I'm very happy with this deal. I'm very happy this move that I had in my portfolio. So yeah, let me know what you kind of did and what your thoughts are and everything, I guess. But yeah, hope it was useful. If you could, smash the like button. If you're new, subscribe. I'll see you next video.